Hello and welcome to another episode of the Appelboom Bites podcast. Today's episode number 84 already, and it's going to be an amazing episode. It's going to be very special because we have a very, very special guest here on the show. But first, let me introduce our co-host for today. We are really happy that she made it because she had a really, really tough week last week, and she's only home for a couple of hours. So if she falls asleep sometimes, we might have to, make some loud noises to wake her up again. But welcome back, Alexandra. How are you doing?
Good. Hello. My Wi-Fi just cut out, but now I'm back because, of course, it did. That's par for the course of today. I'm good. I'm tired, but I'm good. About
Tell us what you did last week,
we
because people are wondering, of course, what you did.
I was at the Chicago Pen Show all of last week, and I didn't document it as well as I meant to, because I did get texts from people going, "Are you at Chicago?" Which tells me I really didn't post that I was at Chicago very well. So yes, I was at Chicago. Yes, there's a bunch of content coming from it, but I was working 18-hour days, and so
that's crazy.
I wasn't doing a bunch of social media stuff. I was doing other stuff that you'll see later.
Yeah, well, that's fine. Sometimes you have to make fun first, and after that, just post all the content, right? That's how it works.
Yes.
Okay, I need to ask. How many pens?
episodes.
How many pens did you brought with you home from the Chicago Pen Show?
Too many. I have a couple of friends were destashing their collections, and so I picked up some stuff that way. I got a couple things
That
gifted
doesn't
to me
count.
from that I work with. Okay, so are we only
This
counting?
also doesn't count. Yeah.
So purchases, I think I purchased 6
Oh, but that's fine. That's okay.
or 7.
That's
If we
also
throw
okay. Under 10, it's okay. Under 10, it's okay.
great.
Yeah.
It's a lot larger of a number if
I'm
we throw
proud
in
of you.
everything.
I'm really proud of you, Alexandra. I'm really proud. All right, let me introduce our guest because he is waiting backstage for a while now, and we would like to bring him up on the stage because it's the one and only CEO of Tom's Studio. It's Tom himself. He's the founder, CEO. He's the designer. He's basically everything in the company, right? Welcome on the show, Tom. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you for that lovely introduction.
Yes, it's so great to have you here.
It's great to be here.
Yes.
I liked
Alexandra,
hearing about...
I wanted to ask you one more thing because you sold a lot of pens, right, Alexandra? And I wanted to know how many Tom Studio pens did you sell?
I sent people over to the Tom Studio section of the Atlas table, and I sold Tom Studio inks. But the
Be
Tom
careful with
Studio
your
pens
answer,
were-
right? Because otherwise Tom will leave straight away, and it will be a really short podcast.
I was at the bottom of the U here of the 9 tables, and the Tom Studio pens were all the way at the other end on the opposite side. And so I was sending people to the person that was working that section. So I know many were sold because we packed up less to go home with us.
Wonderful.
But I don't know how many were sold.
It's
Happy
a really
days.
safe answer. Yeah.
That's all I need to know. That's
really
great.
Mom, I can tell you, Mom spent 4 hours organizing the ink wall for Atlas and really liked how all your bottles are numbered.
Oh, thank
because
you.
it made it really easy for her to organize all your
good.
inks.
Yeah, it does appeal
compared
to
to
people
other
who like
brands.
things in a nice, orderly fashion. Definitely. Yeah.
When you're spending hours organizing inks, when you can just pull up something and put them in sequential number order, that's very pleasant.
Makes it nice and easy. Oh, good. I'm glad that
I
worked.
can imagine that. All right. Before we start the podcast, we always do the pen check. And Alexandra, I would like to ask you to start with your pen check.
The pen check.
So I have one of my purchases from this weekend, which is a custom pen from White Bear Pens. It is the Pink Pony Club Blank from Papa J Studios, and Michaela has turned it into a very cute pen for me. I don't know what ink is in it. I inked it up with somebody's bottle of Sailor Mano, something pink that was sitting on a table, but I love how sparkly it is. It's really pretty and cute. And it's got, I think, it's got a medium. I thought it was a fine. I picked it up on day one,
nice.
and it hung out in my rickshaw all weekend around my neck, and it was great. It was a very pretty thing to pull out to take notes with when I needed to write things down behind the booth.
So you use it a lot as well?
Yes, it's for a pen that I've only owned since Thursday. It's had a lot of use.
Is medium your favorite nib size?
No. My favorite nib size is a custom grind.
Oh.
I like when an extra fine or a fine is turned into a mini stub.
Nice.
Mini stubs are my favorite nib size. And after this week, I am up to 3 in my collection because I got this weekend in Chicago.
You need something to compare your favorite to, don't you? So you need 3 stub nibs.
Well, I don't like a normal stub. I like a mini stub. I like the smaller mini stub. I find a regular stub is just too wide for me. I don't have the right angle for them. A mini stub is just perfect. And I had I don't like an extra fine, but I could only get something in an extra fine. And so at a pen show, I have what I call the problem child pen case, which is the pen case that I need someone to fix. I don't really care which nib grinders fixes it. I just need someone to fix. And the problem child pen case floated around to a couple people until someone had time to fix them. And in the end, Matthew Chen had time to fix them like an hour before the show ended on Sunday. And I have 2 little mini stubs now.
It was fixed, and that's good.
It was fixed. They're great. I love them. And they're 2 Heinz they're 2 prototype pens from a handmade maker. So,
wow,
that's
lovely.
Cool. That's really cool. Nice. I forgot to welcome everybody in the chat that's watching us right now live on YouTube. If you have any questions for us, please feel free to ask them in the chat, in the comment section. Any questions for me, Alexandra, or Tom, and we will try to answer those. So please feel free to ask them. All right, Tom, what pen do you carry around with you?
This is a complete wild card, and it's mainly just a shout out to a good friend of mine, a calligrapher called Imogen Owen. So it's a pencil. It's not a pen at all.
Of course.
But it's a lovely pencil. So my friend Imogen, if you've seen her work, she's just an incredible, expressive calligrapher. She's quite a lot like Betty Soldi. So can just do things off the cuff, and they're incredibly stunning. So she brought out this range of scented pencils. So this is a lovely Japanese cedarwood, and then she sourced wonderful aromas. So every time you pull this pencil out, it just smells delicious. So she's got gingerbread and lavender, all sorts of lovely scents, and it makes your pen case or your pencil case smell like that too. So yeah, a bit of a wild card, not a pen, but yeah, a real favorite of mine. And
we accept it. It's okay.
It's okay. Yeah. I suppose you say mechanical pencils and all sorts of things. So you know
that's fine.
But yeah, and just check out her work because it's very inspiring. So yeah, that's my pencil of choice.
Wonderful. It's really funny because I don't have a lot of knowledge about it, but I think it's really cool that you have that smell in the wood. Is that something that's common with pencils, or? No,
I think she might have come up with it, but it's just a really nice idea. It just really appealed to me. And she's also just very good at packaging. So I can grab one later, but she has made this beautiful triangular net that keeps all of the pencils in a really nice, orderly way. And then when you open it up, you get that nice release of of scent. And because she's a calligrapher, obviously the packaging itself just looks absolutely stunning as well. So when she launched them, I just thought these are wonderful. So yeah, she's always bringing out new scents. So it's very tempting to treat yourself.
It's really cool, really cool. Thank you for sharing, Tom. I will dive into that after this episode. All right, let's have a quick look at my pen check. I have a pen here with me. It's from a customer, so I will handle it with great care. But it's a pen that I definitely want to show to everybody because it's not a pen that we have here in the store every day. It is the Tatcha Yaka. Sorry, I will butcher this name very hard, and I'm so sorry for that. But it's the Tatcha Yako Isho Tomoshibi. I hope I pronounce it correctly. Here it is. Wait, let me enlarge myself a little bit. Here I am. And as you can see here, it is a beautiful pen with Wajima lacquer on there. It's a traditional Japanese way of painting on the pens, and it looks really, really cool. And I just had to show it here because we will ship it to the customer, and then we will most likely never see it again. But yeah, sometimes you have pens like this in the store. That's the fun thing. Having a pen store, you see beautiful pens like this.
Did you say it was a Rushi?
Yes.
Wow. Beautiful.
Here it is. It has a sailor nib on it, and it's very, very nice. It's very nicely done, and it's just amazing. Just wanted to show it here as my pen check for today. So thank you for that. All right, Tom, we always start a podcast with a question from our previous guest, which is quite an interesting one. It's a question from Anush Podar. He's from AP Limited Editions, and actually he also make pens like this with crazy lacquers and ruchis and things like that. So it's
excellent,
quite funny. And his question for you was, which pen would you like to own one day and why? So basically his question was, what is your grail pen?
That's a great question. So I think it would be almost anything from Yardo Lead. I just love the craftsmanship that goes into every single product that they make. There's actually a fascinating YouTube video. If you follow a guy called Alex Steele, he's a modern day blacksmith, and he visits them and he shows you all of the machinery that they use to engrave patterns into the body of the pen. And it just gives you this real sense of like how much work goes into these incredible products. And they had to invent these machines before they could even make them. So yeah, they're a little bit out of my price range at the moment, but as you say, this is aspirational. So I think I'd go for a mechanical pencil from Yardo Lead because I've always loved the mechanical pencil. But I mean, I wouldn't say no to any of them. They all look amazing. So yeah, anything from Yardo Lead.
Everything.
We have Nirna's Calm Joyce is saying it's a good choice.
Thank you.
So that's a good thing. No, it's a really nice. We went to Yardo Lead as well. We also created a video there, and it's really.
Oh, did you? Oh, great!
Yeah,
I'll have to watch that.
It's really nice to see all the handwork that's involved. It's crazy.
It's incredible.
How much handwork is involved?
It's really inspirational, and just so nice that method of manufacturing hasn't died. Because so many of these businesses that we don't know about them because they're all kind of extinct, I suppose. But fortunately, it's just been looked after with such care throughout the years that it still maintains the soul that it started with, which is so rare these days. It's really fantastic.
It's very unique. It's just from a barrel of sterling silver that they create this. Right into it. It's wonderful. It's if you haven't watched the video yet, you should definitely have to check it out.
Definitely watch that.
All right. Enough about other pens, Tom, because you're here, of course, to talk about Tom's studio. That's why you're here, and we would like to know everything about it. So let's start with a start. Tom's Studio. Why? How did you come up with it? Why did you start with Tom Studio?
Great question. And behind me, or behind the screen on this side, I have a whole kind of timeline of pens So I can show you all of that. But it was started nearly 10 years ago now, when my wife was using a pen like this, which is a sort of, I suppose, a mass-produced calligraphy pen, and she'd take these amazing photographs of her work, and then this would sit next to it. And I thought, hold on a minute, I've got to be able to do something better than that. And we'd recently got married, and I
Congratulations.
well, yeah, thank you. So I made cufflinks for all of the groomsmen, and on her dad's lathe that he kept in his garage. And I just loved the process. I studied furniture and product design at university, but the one piece of equipment that I didn't really use was a lathe, which was kind of unusual because they had lots of lathes, used milling machines, brazing hards, you name it. But I just fell in love with the process. It was just so therapeutic and almost kind of sculptural, being able to put a piece of solid metal on the lathe, and then through time and patience, you would be able to produce a product, or some cufflinks, or a pen. And so that first pen, which I actually have with me, is this one here. So this is solid copper, and this is Corian. Thank you. So you can see the copper's tarnished and patinated over time, so it gives it that really nice.
Can you show it a little bit closer to the camera?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So there you go. So yeah, this is the first one that I made, and I very eagerly ran up the stairs from the garage, showed it to Gemma, and she picked it up and just went, "Oh, that's a bit heavy." I went back to the drawing board and spent quite a lot of time working on the balance and how it would actually feel in your hand. But one of the things that I kind of concentrated in those early days was using waste material. So this part here is actually made from Corian. Have you come across Corian before? So
For me, it's the first time I heard this word.
So if you get a fancy kitchen, basically, that's made from what's called a solid surface, it's like a really lovely, hard-wearing surface that you would have in your kitchen. But you can think about every single part of the sink that's cut out, for instance, that all just gets thrown away. So I was very conscious of taking waste from other manufacturers and being able to repurpose it and really show the full potential of these beautiful materials. So I don't have some of them here, but I used to make them from sheep's wool was one material, excess resin from making surfboards. If you could think about when you make a pair of jeans, you get this big triangle in the middle that goes and is waste material. I could take that and turn it into a material called micarta.
But you just called companies and said, like, "Hey, I know you have waste, bring it over to me."
Yeah, basically.
Wow,
and
really
quite a few of them were sort of real favorites of mine. So there's a jean manufacturer in Wales, in a place called Cardigan, that brought jean manufacturing back to that part of the world, and I just admired their philosophy. And so I just phoned them up and said, "Have you got any excess material?" And they sent me all this beautiful Japanese selvage that they had no use for. Same with glasses. There's a company called Cubits, and they made handmade frames, and all this cellulose acetate would be waste material. So I could turn that into a terrazzo and recast it into the body of the pen. Even from turning the actual tail, you'd get what's called swarf, which are these incredible spirals of material. And so I could cast that into a clear eco resin and really celebrate this circularity that you get from designing and making the whole product. So there was almost zero waste. That's
super special.
Oh, it's just so much fun, yeah. And so, as I say, Gemma's here, by the way. Do you want to say hello? She's currently illustrating.
Hello.
She's busy drawing. We're working on Christmas. You've got to start
Christmas
these things early these days. Yeah. So she's doing a wonderful Christmas. It's like Christmas over here. So she
she
tried
has a little Christmas tree on her desk and everything.
There is actually a Christmas tree from last year, isn't there?
It's dead.
Yeah, we'll bring it back to life, ready for Christmas this year. She said, with a few tweaks, I could probably use that. So I went back to the drawing board and then produced a much finer tail. So I was able to design this with the balance and the center of gravity in mind. So this was actually CNC'd from a local company. And that meant that I could concentrate on the body of the pen and customizing the grip section, if you like, to a customer. Have you used a calligraphy pen, in particular kind of an oblique pen like this before?
I haven't used an oblique one. I've got some other calligraphy pens in my collection, but I haven't used. I've looked at them. I think they're really cool. I tend to reach for ones that are straight up and down. Just day-to-day.
Yes, yeah, they're a great place to start if you're just picking up calligraphy. A straight pen is perfect.
It's mostly that I don't use them all that often. When I do pick them up, I need something that feels like my normal pens.
Exactly. Yeah, there's definitely an adjustment that you need to make when you use an oblique pen, because the pressure that you want to put on the tines has to be equal, but then it's kind of at a strange angle. So there is definitely a lot of adjustment to be made there. But so I used to make these in straight versions and oblique. This is particularly good for a style of calligraphy called copperplate, where you write at a 55-degree angle. And then I could encase things like gold leaf into the body of the pen, or wildflowers, or you name it. It was basically like a laboratory of materials, my workshop. And then from that point, I was sort of, as I say, experimenting with these materials. By the way, feel free to chip in and ask questions as I'm going.
Yes, of course.
But then I thought, wouldn't it be nice if there was a fountain pen that also was, really relevant to calligraphers? So I started working on a flex nib fountain pen and designed what I called the studio pen. So again, the body of the pen was CNC'd from brass or steel, and then I would concentrate on making a really lovely lid and body section to the pen. So this is, again, 24 karat gold, and similar to the pen that you just showed us, this is like a ruchi in that there's layers and layers, and I used to sand to, I think it was 12,000 grit between each layer to get this mirror finish, and then buff it and polish it. And so it was really quite a labor of love to make these.
But the end result is amazing. It looks really, really nice.
Thank you. Yeah. And again, I started playing around with materials and was able to make a pen from paper, which was a fun one. And there's, I don't know if you know the company GF
You
Smith.
made a pen from paper?
Yes, yeah. So if you get layers of paper and then put resin, eco resin in between each one, and then put pressure on it, you basically make a solid block of paper. And then I can mount that on my lathe and then turn it away to create the body of the pen, so that you could do fun things like that. And I made one from a Spitfire propeller, and basically any material, unless it was diamond, you could kind of make it. Although there is a challenge there. Could make
why not?
Yeah, exactly. One day I'll work on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a lot of fun. And so for the first sort of 5 years, I was hand making absolutely everything on my lathe, using lots of natural woods as well, because I'm really close to the New Forest here, where we've got incredible timber, and have some good friends who, when there's lightning damage or a tree falls down, they give me these amazing, like 200-year-old pieces of oak, or had some hazel from Florence Nightingale's garden. And so Chelsea Flower Show got in touch and said, would you like to exhibit for free at Chelsea Flower Show? And that was just a really kind of momentous point. And I think beforehand, everyone thought I was mad making calligraphy pens. Like, family members like, what do you do? What do you do? You've left your job and now you're making calligraphy pens. Where's that come from? But kind of doing a show like that and having, a fantastic response really sort of solidified that I wasn't completely mad in my head.
You were in the right direction.
I was in the right direction, yeah. And so that was really lovely. And I've always, from that point, really loved doing shows like you were talking about, the Chicago Pen Show, being face to face with customers, letting people try everything, break some stuff, give you feedback in the moment. It's so good. So yeah, that was a real high point. And then I wanted to make a calligraphy pen specifically. So like this oblique that I showed you earlier, it holds the nib at this 55-degree angle, as I say, but you have to use a pair of pliers if you want to try and change the nib, which is a real faff. Like, if you're a professional calligrapher that's like, oh, I just want to throw a different nib in there, try a different style, then it becomes quite tedious. So I prototyped this. So this is the original prototype of the Flourish pen. And so how it works is you tighten this nut and then it holds a nib in place. And then you have this grub screw, so you're able to loosen and tighten that and change the angle. So depending on, and you can also use it as a left-handed person as well. So it meant that if you bought a standard oblique pen, you couldn't use it as a left-handed person. Whereas if you bought this pen, you could. So I shared that with my audience. And again, Instagram has been kind of invaluable for talking to people and getting like immediate feedback. And that led to the Flourish pen, which I started off by dip dyeing every single one by hand. So there's this,
Wow.
I don't know if you know much about anodizing, but essentially what happens is you get raw aluminium and then you send it to anodizers. And what that does is it opens up the pores of the aluminium, essentially. And then what I was doing was taking that, and you can't get like any air, any oil on it, otherwise those pores just start to close. I would take that, and then I had this kind of absolutely mad experimenter's kind of table of just dyes that I would dip the pens in to create these interesting effects. One of which involved shaving foam, which you would put spray out and then put dye through it, and you could create this mad marbled effect. So but it was kind of nuts. Like there was, some of them were great. So
are there videos of this, or
sorry,
did you miss out on taking a video of this whole process, or are there videos of this whole process?
There are videos. Yeah, if you scroll back and on the timeline, I think you can certainly see some of the pens that I used to make. Okay. But there was just no consistency. Like some people were so pleased with their pen, and others were like, oh, it's not quite right. So I actually ended up using the Pantone system and being able to be quite specific and learning more about, how you can create different effects that are a little bit more controlled. So now we can create beautiful gradients that kind of segue into each other. And we've got a lovely set called Sunrise and Sunset. So you got to learn.
Yeah, of course.
It's definitely a learning curve. Like, Sean Designs, who makes the Pocket 6, every time I see Ian at a pen show, he's doing some crazy new dye process with his pens.
He's a genius. Yeah, his stuff's very, very impressive.
Oh, it looks impressive online, and then you see it in person and you look at it and you go, I actually don't understand how you're doing this.
Yeah, it's so cool, isn't it?
It is so, and I adore Ian.
Yeah, I'm yet to meet him. Actually, I need to come to more of these pen shows.
He is
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, he's definitely got that spirit of kind of like, oh, I don't know if I could make that work, but I'm going to try.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you can see that in that amazing titanium nib that he's launched.
Oh,
so many people would just think about doing that and then think, nah, that's too tricky. I'm not going to bother.
My favorite thing about him at a pen show is that he's got a monarch that's still attached to the aluminum bar, and so you can see how it starts and how it turns into the nib.
Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool. Nice. It's so nice, actually, isn't it, as a customer, to be able to see, the kind of trial and error that goes into creating an object, because so often when you go to a store or whatever, that it's all prepackaged and it's just like there.
You only see the end product.
You do, don't you? Yeah. So to actually, and that's what, again, kind of things like Instagram, if they open the door to the world of the.
That's why we're talking here with you, to learn more about the background story about all these products that you have, right?
Oh, good. Yeah.
That's why you're here.
Yeah, well, I love talking about it. So yeah, no, I'm really pleased to be invited. So yeah, that product went down really well, and like I say, folks really enjoyed being able to just change quickly between nibs. Although the first batch I was still learning, and it just went horribly wrong. Like I sent product that just wasn't right. Nibs were falling out left, right, and center. So I quickly changed it and replaced. I think it was like 150 pens that I had to resend out to people. But you learn lessons the hard way quite often, I think, and it was worth it because the product was vastly improved, and it became people's calligraphy pen. That would be their daily driver. It would just make life a lot easier for them. So, and then that kind of started me on this journey about like thinking, what else can I do? What else can I kind of change with existing products to make what is maybe less inspiring or less useful, and make them more inspiring and more useful for people. So that kind of led me on to this, which is the Studio pen, which has this nice little gold cap there, which is a little bit heavier than the aluminium, so it gives you a really nice kind of balance in the pen. And then I really concentrated on just giving people lots of options, tips-wise, nibs-wise, because I think unless you are like you guys, you understand fountain pens, a lot of folks just have it in their heads that a fountain pen is just like one nib size. They just remember it from school, and they don't really understand like the vastness of of the things that you can do with a fountain pen. Yeah, exactly. And you can use it for illustration. You can use it for your journal. You can put this ink in it. You can put shimmer ink in it, like we were talking about earlier. And it just becomes this incredible tool for self-expression. And that's kind of what I was trying to achieve with this product, giving people the option to write in a calligraphic style with the fountain pen without having to dip. Show people that if you pop some shimmer ink in this or some scented ink, then it becomes so kind of ownable and feels like a pen that you just want to pick up, because you don't really know what's going to happen, what result is going to, what you're going to achieve on paper. So that went really well, and I've always been really conscious of how calligraphers, the core audience, how I would kind of show them other products that might be relevant to them.
What I love about that pen is that you offer custom ground nibs pre-available.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
There's for people that don't have the ability to get them at a pen show. There are so few companies where you can just buy an off-the-shelf custom ground nib. Oh,
that's really, really good to hear. Yeah, and it's fun, isn't it? Like you want to be able to try, like we were talking before the show, like a mini stub. Why not? That sounds great. I want to give that a go.
Like just all the fun stuff.
Yeah, it's so fun, isn't it? And that's basically become a sort of mission of mine, really, is to show people the fun and the creativity that you can achieve using what is essentially like a very, very old, manner of making a pen work. But it just so happens it's one of the best. So we can do so much more. Like Sean, being able to use titanium now just makes such a difference. You can achieve different stroke weights and the flexibility and the feel of the material, and so many clever people doing clever things with fountain pens now. It's fantastic to see. So yeah, calligraphers, and sort of opened up the world to the fountain pen fans, and just sort of everyday people. That
what is Tom? Quickly, what is your favorite nib on this fountain pen?
I like an architect nib.
Yes,
because you can write really badly and it still looks good.
Yes.
So yeah, I use that one a lot. I also like the way that you can flip it, so you can get a nice fine stroke on the other side. We've got a zoom nib, which I'm playing with at the moment.
I love a zoom. They're so hard to get on anything other than a sailor, but they're one of my favorite nib grinds. I almost talked about my sailor zoom nib this morning. Oh,
yeah, they know what they're doing when it comes to zoom nibs, don't they? Yeah, they're just, yeah, like I say, they're just really fun. And being able to adjust stroke weight. If you're an illustrator, you probably never even thought about using a zoom nib. But if you can get variable stroke weights when you're creating a design or what have you, it's such a versatile tool. So I guess part of what I'm trying to do is show people that you can use these nibs for all these different effects, and maybe you haven't even thought about using that. So yeah, that's the Studio pen. And then I have the Studio Pocket Pen, which is a little version of the Studio pen. And again, that has all of the nibs that the Studio pen can take. And what we do with this is, because it's smaller, it can't fit a converter, a full-size converter. So it actually has a normal, universal, small ink cartridge, but we sell. Sorry, we don't sell. We include a little syringe, so you can refill it with any ink. So it takes what would otherwise be disposable, and then you can use it over and over and over and over again. And then we sell empty versions of that, so you can fill them with any ink color and pop them in and change. So, and a
Kaweco converter, will that fit? Because Kaweco have those mini converters, right?
Yeah, those little bladder ones, they fit.
Yes.
Does it fit the new mini foldable?
The mini foldable? That might
be, because that's the same size. So Kaweco has a new converter. It's a mini foldable converter, and that folds down, and then it's the same size as a regular ink cartridge. So most likely it will fit.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah. This summer. Or last summer. They're great. I've got a couple of my collection.
I need to have a look at that. That sounds fantastic. Yeah, because it's
so
good.
I will send you one over, Tom. I will send you one over.
Just wonderful. I'd love to play with that. Yeah, that sounds like it's a great way of being able to refill with any color and being able to flush the pen with using it, hopefully. I would love to try that. Then what else have I got lurking back here? So
John has a really good question for you. John in the chat, John Lopez. He asks, what brings you the most joy when you are creating your fountain pen designs?
That is a really good question. I couldn't actually pinpoint one thing, I don't think. I really enjoy the whole process. I think the thing that probably gives me the most joy is when I actually launch something and I take it to a show and people haven't seen the product before, and obviously hoping that they like it. And when they do, it's just like a yes, because there's so many people with high standards. People really know what they're talking about. Calligraphers, fountain pen lovers alike. And when you go to a stationery show, what have you, seeing people's reactions and using it, and they're showing their friends, and so I think it's probably that. And I love solving problems as well. So anything that feels like a bit of a stumbling block, when there's when I feel like I've actually solved it and it feels like a logical, sensible decision that I've made to create something that is hopefully better, then that always feels very good as well. So yeah.
That's nice.
And then,
I also have a little problem for you to solve, Tom, because there are a couple of things that we have to cover, like the Lumos, of course, and the Wren.
Yeah.
But we are a little bit running out of time. It's not that we're almost running out of time, but we might have to jump over to the next pen right now to talk about before. Otherwise, we have a timing issue.
Absolutely.
So let's start about the Lumos.
Oh, Lumos, right? Yeah, sorry, I thought it was going to be one of your pens. Over to the Lumos.
No. I will skip the new products this week anyway. We will just talk about Tom Studio. No worries.
So here we go. The Lumos is this is actually one of the prototypes. So the theory here was that I loved using fine liner pens. Yes, a little bitty bit of brass that I made on my lathe. Was that fine liner pens I loved, but the tips would break or they would run out of ink. So I prototyped this using a lovely Japanese nib, and the theory worked that you could swap and change out tips and then refill the actual pen reservoir with ink. And so I went through, I don't know, maybe 15 or 20 different variations of this. So it would hold the tip really nicely, finding the perfect tips that would work and give you lots of variety. So this is the result of all of that experimentation, which is called the Lumos, which I wanted to make an everyday tool for writers, illustrators, you name it. So you have 11 different tips that work with this pen, which are here. So in every box, you get this little envelope, which contains all of the different tips there.
Cool. So
you have a 0.1 to a 1, and then you have two sizes of writing tip, and then you have a brush tip, chisel, and a bullet. So you can experiment as well and have access to tips that you might never have used. And I'm bringing out a really lovely fine 0.05 soon. So those who love like really fine architectural drawings, they'll have the right tip for them. And it means that you can put any color, like I just showed you here. You can have two tips in one pen as well. So as a designer, I quite often use a fine tip, and then to do borders, I use a finer kind of chisel or a bullet tip. And so, yeah, it's been fascinating. And what we found is that a lot of people use the writing tip. Having spoken to people, they loved the fact that it was refillable and they loved the tips, but they weren't using some of the creative side of it. So that made me think, hold on, why don't we just make a really, really good writing pen using a Japanese tip? So I designed this, which is the Wren, and it works in a very similar way that you get a reservoir that you can dunk in ink, and then it through capillary action.
This is also something new, right? I had never seen that before. This reservoir.
Yeah, it's just a really neat way of taking ink from here and taking it to the tip. And then, if you're left-handed, it doesn't put quite as much ink.
But where did you get inspiration from? Because I've never seen something like this.
I guess I was just sort of quizzing what was possible and trying new things. And I guess as an industry, disposable pen manufacturers don't want to give you the option to refill because it's a messy process. You sell more pens. So, and it just answered a personal problem for me. So I really kind of dived into some solutions that would solve the problem.
I got a question once from a customer who was wondering, like, okay, what do I do if I'm changing colors?
Yeah, so we actually sell like a little container. I don't have one here, but essentially what you do is you unscrew your container, pop your reservoir in, and then you can put a new one in. And you can either choose to change the tip, or you get this lovely transition from one color to the next.
That's also cool.
Which is really fun, actually. So yeah, this is the Wren, which is a very pocketable writing pen, and it comes with this Japanese tip here. And folks have just really loved this. People that were just using the writing tip. We got a lot of teachers, a lot of journalists, a lot of people that want to have a specific color, because you can, blend your phantom pen inks if you want to as well, and create something that's completely unique to you. And another thing that we offer is that we can change. You can choose on the site, for instance, the colors that you want. So it feels much more personal, and then you can etch it as well. So it feels like your pen. I'm really kind of obsessed with pens feeling like they are owned by a person rather than just come off a factory line and, they're for everyone. When your writing is so unique, the pen should be unique too, or as unique as you can make it. And then very quickly, because I know we're running out of time.
Please, you have plenty of time, Tom. No worries.
Okay, excellent. So, one problem that I have been trying to solve quite some time is this. So this is pen waste from a school. So from one school, if you can imagine 3 of these cubes, probably even more, absolutely full to the brim with single-use plastic. That's from one term from one school that we collect locally. And they can't do anything with it other than send it to landfill. But it's a wonderful type of plastic, generally speaking. It's called polypropylene. And what polypropylene allows you to do is turn it into granules, and then you can, using injection molding, but hand injection molding, where you actually pull a big lever and force it into a mold, you can take that plastic and give it a second life. So we're working with schools across the country and hopefully internationally soon to collect all of their pen waste and then turn it into products. So this is called funfetti, and we can make caps, we can make accessories, we can make you name it.
I was so excited when you posted about these. They are so cool. And like our local art store in Canada has for years, since before COVID, has had a drop box for, it's got one for spray paint cans and then it's got one for pens and markers.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because they're recycled by some art company here locally.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But I was so excited to see that you guys were using school waste and turning it into these caps. Because also it looks really cool.
There is that massive benefit there that you get this complete, you know, what I was saying about making pens that feel as unique as they possibly can be. They're all unique, every single pattern that you get, and you get this wonderful surprise when you open the mold and you can see the different styles of how the different colors have kind of amalgamated and turned into this lovely marble.
What I also love about everything you do in general is the fact that you, like the nibs, like the interchangeable tips, like if you use if you just use one set of tip, you sell 3 packs of tips.
Mm.
And for the Lumos, you now sell a keyring adapter.
Yes.
I cannot wait to get my hands on, because I desperately need one for my Galen leather pen case.
Nice.
It's things like that where like it's a small pen. It's easy to misplace it. But if it has a home, then it's much harder to misplace it.
Yeah, that's a really good insight, actually.
But I love how you started with one thing and then you've built it out to make it much more sort of user-friendly. Like you're adding new tip sizes. Your pen rests for the desk are fantastically amazing.
Thank you.
Like you are constantly innovating as a company. And
But Alexandra, I also think that's because Tom Studio is really reacting on the feedback that they get directly from the end consumers. And since they're not like some kind of a big company owned by many people, they have the possibility to, you know, change, not really changing directions, but they can adapt to certain things. So if they get feedback from something, and correct me if I'm wrong, Tom, but that's the feeling that I get. Like if they get feedback from something, they can immediately act on that feedback.
Yeah, I love customer feedback. And sometimes, you know, if you get like one that hurts, you're like, oh, that, you know, the negative feedback, that's the really important stuff. That's the stuff that really matters, because if one person's thinking that, there's going to be many more. And so feeling...
If there's one person telling you that, you know, you can be sure that there are many other people that won't tell you that.
Exactly. They're just too nice almost. But no, I think it's really important to get as honest feedback as possible, because everything that, you know, this journey has been full of ups and downs and things that I've got wrong and you name it. But it's all about what you do next and changing your trajectory and trying to just constantly improve. And that's basically what I'm trying to do is create products that people love and feel like they have the support from us as a company as well, that if there's anything ever, you know, that they're not happy with, then we're going to sort it out for them, and probably even, you know, change future designs to rectify that issue or make it even better, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, that's important. I see a question here from Claire Coco. On your dip pen, do you need the fiber in nib if you want to use it for swatching?
That's a very good question. So we have a product called One Dip Wonder, and it's basically a spring with a magnet that attaches to the back of a nib. And since we launched it, calligraphers have just been singing its praises, because instead of just dipping and then writing a few words, you can basically write the whole alphabet using that product. So that solves a lot of problems when you're just dipping once. The other products, which I haven't spoken about yet, is this, which is called the One Dip Nib. And inside here, you can't see it, but there's a 3D printed part which has this spiral which holds ink, much like a reservoir and a fountain pen. And that just releases ink. So you're able to dip it once, let capillary action work its magic, and then you can swatch. And the fun thing is that you've got multiple kind of angles, so you can get really thick strokes, you can get really fine strokes with that, and then you can adjust the line width with this little thumb screw as well.
That's really cool.
So yeah, a few fun options for you there. But this is really good for swatching.
Yeah. John also has another question. It's to me, but maybe Tom, you can also dive onto that. How will the tariffs affect your business? Because that's of course now a really hot topic.
We're trying to do as much as business as usual, and we're still shipping to the States, and we're finding the best kind of carriers and couriers for that. And it shouldn't affect us too much because we make everything in Somerset, and everything is assembled in the UK, so there shouldn't be any hold up from that perspective. So yeah, it's obviously affecting us as it is everybody, but it shouldn't, we hope, affect the lead times of orders and hopefully the cost as well.
Yeah, so far we also don't have any issues with it. So yeah, maybe we're just lucky, or we're just okay with that. All right, Alexandra, do you have a question for Tom before we have to end the show?
I'm going to continue asking the same question that I'm now on week 4.
That's completely fine.
Which is, if you lost your entire pen collection, what would be your first repurchase?
Oh, well, it would be very hard for me to lose my.
You're sweating now, huh, Tom? Wow.
If they, if all of them vanished, that would be impressive, because I'm a bit of a hoarder when it comes to prototypes and various finishes and what have you. But yeah, very good question. I think, what would it be? I can't remember the name of the mechanical pencil. As you can tell, I love a mechanical pencil, but it's the one that sharpens itself. It's got just a really clever bit of engineering. The names escape me, though. I'm sure someone with a better memory than me will remember it in the chat. But yeah, there's something about Japanese engineering and their kind of attention to detail that really inspires me and fascinates me, because it is just so kind of like, wow, where did you even think about that in your injection molding and machining these tiny components to do this sharpening mechanism? So it would probably be that, I think.
All right.
That's a good one. I like that. John has a quick question for me. Does it mean that you will have to declare your stroopwafel goodies on every purchase headed to the US? It's still going by the tariffs. John, I can tell you, but please don't tell it to anybody else. We're shipping the stroopwafels illegally. We don't declare them. So far there are no issues with that. And hopefully the US Customs are not listening to this podcast. So the stroopwafels can still go through customs without any issue. And I can see here that William got his pen, the Mac Ricardo, including the stroopwafels. So that's a good thing. Glad it arrived safely, William. All right, guys, we're already here at the end of the show. Tom, is there anything that you would like to share? Maybe a new product that's launching soon or whatever that you like? Okay, I need that off my chest right now.
Just to talk about your stroopwafels, I think there's a collaboration that we should do, just where I don't know if you've seen, but we send tea with every order. So we have popcorn tea. And is it correct that you put a stroopwafel on top of the cup?
Yes, it's possible. Yes. So the waffle gets warmer, and then it's even better. So yeah,
there's we need a stroopwafel tea with a stroopwafel. It's got to happen.
We have to work that out. Work it out. I like that. All right, Tom, thank you so much. Before we're ending the show, I need to have a question from you for our next guest, where we can start the show with. So what question do we have to ask our guest of next week?
I think I would like to ask them which maker, designer, or pen or creative tool maker or designer inspires you the most?
It's a really good question.
Apparently, somebody's already figured out potentially the pencil. Never doubt fountain pen nerds.
That's fine. David Manson was wondering, did you
Yes, I did
mean
mean that. Thank you. That's exactly what I meant.
Look at that. We have
Thank
the
you,
most amazing audience in the entire world, Tom.
Yeah.
You see it. You see
Yeah.
it right here.
I
Thank
knew
you so
someone
much,
would know.
David, for helping us out. All right, Tom, we're going to ask the question, which maker or designer inspires you the most? To Kate from Bennu Pen. So that's a really interesting question to start the show with. She actually
Wonderful.
had to be a guest last week, but unfortunately I was sick, so we had to cancel that show. But she was able to join us next week. So I'm really happy for that. Really grateful for that. Sorry.
I have to listen.
Yes, Tom, thank you so much again for joining and for sharing your story. I really appreciate it. Please keep doing the things that you're doing. Create more nice products. I think if I'm speaking for everybody, if we love to see all your products and love using them. So really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you both. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Lovely to chat
Yeah,
with
it was
you.
a lot of fun.
Thank you.
It was a lot of fun. Alexandra, thank you so much for joining again, especially after your really, really busy week at the Chicago Pen Show. Please go back to bed now, have some rest, and then after a week or so, after 7 days, we will see you again together with Kate from Bennu. And we're going to have a lot of fun there again as well. Everybody that was watching, thank you so much. And if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to do that right now. Head over to Alexandra's YouTube channel as well to see the most amazing content. And also subscribe there, because the content of the Chicago Pen Show you will see tomorrow, right, Alexandra? Or not tomorrow?
Actually, yeah, the first...
Yeah.
There's an interview with Bryce from Luxury Brands tomorrow, and then
Well, you're fast.
20 questions will start on Monday. And there are 30 episodes coming of 20 questions, because I did not sleep for the last 5 days.
Well, there's plenty of content over there, so please head over to her YouTube channel and subscribe there. Also, check out the Instagram page of Tom Studio so you won't miss out on a new product of Tom Studio in the future anymore. Everybody, thank you so much again, and we will see you back again next week. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.